Perfect. Just grab them and go. What are you doing on it?
My cut was over.
Good. Perfect. So yesterday we did bobs. So lines above shoulders. Today we shall. Are we recapping the bob? Yeah. We're going to recap the bob quite quickly, and then we're going to go into bobs with graduation. Bobs with graduation are Kate's haircut, pretty much. So where we've got the stepping bit in the back, higher in the base, and then running forwards into the front. The reason I wanted Andrea to work today, for purposes of the video, this is Andrea. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
The reason I wanted Andrea to be working today with me on demo is because obviously I trust her hugely with her cutting, but we have different ways that we work. I have a different way that I graduate than Andrea graduates. And this is why I wanted you all to see a certain differences, because I cut it completely differently to how Mike will cut it, or the way Aki will cut it, or the way Andrea cuts it. So there are different ways to achieve your success and ways to achieve something that you want to achieve. In terms of line above shoulders, you cut it differently to me as well, I believe. I taught her. You know, she just doesn't do anything I say. But
sorry, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. What I want you guys from this whole experience is, yes, there are processes, and yes, there are ways of achieving something, but find your own way. Okay, if you find that you cut better standing on your head, cut standing on your head. As long as it looks perfect, I don't mind. And the way Andrea's worked is found a way that she finds more informative, more constructive, and more softer.
Yes.
Your layers are a little bit lighter than mine. Your graduation's a little bit lighter than mine, which is good. I think that the lightness of graduation, mine sometimes is a little bit too heavy. So we're going to both show a way of graduated bob or bob with graduation, just to see which one you prefer, and then go with that. If you then find a way that you like yourselves, go with that. Okay, makes sense? Where are we cutting our line to, out of interest from yesterday? What elevation do we cut at? Not you.
Yeah. You were looking at
like, 0 degrees. Why? The weight. Good. Absolutely. How do you cut your line, Andrea? Throw you in the deep end.
You're talking about
Your
body position or head position, or
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
So I do tilt the head just a little bit, going the head to be a little bit forward, and then keep your back straight and bending the knees and combing the hair like a few times in order to know exactly if the hair is like stretched the way it is, and then just to the line.
Just take your line.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And depending on the cut now, because we are talking about the bob, there are like 2 different ways that I do like to do it. So bringing the hair out on the sides, you can just bring it the same point or leave the corners out.
Yep.
It depends on everyone. It's just their own preference.
Absolutely. Do you leave the corners out, or do you go straight through?
Most of the time, to be honest, no. But that's the way, doing like so many mistakes, I've just found out, like, depending on the cut, actually. If I'm doing a bob, I do prefer to just leave the corners out because it's like more safe for me. With other cuts, depending on the cuts, but doing mistakes, you're going to figure it out.
I find that making mistakes is huge. How many mistakes have you made?
Every single time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It is a good thing. Who's made a mistake here? Who's cut himself? Good, good. Only one of my group you have. Well, you're in level 3, so I expect you to have done in level 2. Only one out of my new lot have cut himself here. You sort of sliced yourself a time here. Yeah. I don't class that as a cut. I class that as a slice. So you're not part of the club just yet. Today, I think today is the day the plasters get used quite heavily, because we will be cutting heavily in our fingers today. So if you cut yourself, don't faint. first of all, because our health and safety man is upstairs and I can't be asked to go and run and get him. Don't cry. I'm not good with crying, gals. So don't do that. And just rinse it out and I'll get your plaster, I suppose. Yes. Oh, sorry. It's no wrong. So your side is that side for your head sheets, my side is this side for your head sheets. Let's begin. Right? So I'm going to start with my line first of all. Again, like yesterday, I was talking to Natalie about it. My line was a little bit too baggy on the bottom. So because I have layers in the haircut before, I'm now going to take my bob right nice and high so you can see a really clean bob line. Okay. Again, today I really want strong blow drying. All right. Everything has to be clean and perfect. We've got a long day of this today. So I'm guessing by about 1 o'clock, all of you will have your haircuts in. So blow drying then is essential. Okay. If your blow dry is not perfect, we wet it down and we go again. How are you going to start, Andrea?
I can do the cut without doing the line
Okay,
first,
good.
and I can clean after.
Good.
But as
Oh, go on then.
you, please,
Do whichever way you feel comfortable.
do
Do that way.
do the line or do the line
Do the line
after?
after.
After, yes.
Yeah. See how you get on. Perfect. So, go on, sorry.
That's my section. So starting with the cut for the bob, I do like slightly diagonal, almost at the corner of the ears, and I start with the middle section. Sorry, this one.
Okay.
That's it. So I start with the middle section. First section. As Rob said, every single time we have to work clean, otherwise it's going to be a mess.
I say I'm so fussy, but I'm going to say it all the time with you lot. Like, as soon as I start with any group, I make big, heavy impacts on your sectioning and your cleanliness of your line, cleanliness of your control. It's so important. And now we're starting to get to a point where we're going into the short haircuts. You will start to notice it quite heavily if you've got good clean sectioning when you're in long hair. When you start to come to short, you're going to find your work is cleaner and you're going to find the haircuts easier. So, as Andy is saying, cleanliness is absolutely crucial to just keeping you feeling comfortable and keeping you on the right track. If you feel like you're getting off track somehow, take a smaller section, clean your work up, and then you go through. Okay, it's really quite important point.
So the first section is straight in the middle. For me, in order to figure it out exactly how it falls, so if we can't grab the whole thing, because I didn't create a line, I take just half of the section. And then if I'm angling my fingers and I'm just dropping it just a little bit, then we're going to visualize exactly how it falls, not starting to cut. The angle is like 45 degrees, but for me, depending on the head shape, depending how stuck the client wants to cut, I just grab the section, just dropping a little bit and then visualizing exactly how it falls. Because I can't take and I can't manage, the hair is quite long and I didn't create a line, I just take half of the section. Angling my fingers.
It's a good angle.
It is.
Yeah. So what happens if you've got somebody who's got thicker hair? Would you change the way you cut it, or would you stay with the same technique, but would you go a little bit higher?
To go higher, that means you're gonna have a lighter feeling. So yes, but it depends now, because you can do some retouch after you finish the cuts.
Yeah,
You can soften a little bit the
Yeah.
ends. But if the cut is quite short and you're gonna go quite high, it depends how stuck it's gonna be here. So it's quite dangerous
yeah.
from my point of view. Because I've seen and
Absolutely.
I tried on the block and I went quite high and then I realized it was like a mushroom. So that's why so many mistakes. But for me, every single time before I cut, I do just drop the fingers in order to see exactly how the hair falls. That's
Yeah.
the safest way for me.
That's quite cool. So you're always checking as you're going, basically.
Always checking, yes,
Yeah.
always checking.
So similar to yesterday, I am running my shape into the back. I've taken big sections, okay, so we can get this bit done. Line from the back all the way into the front, and we see cleanliness in the section again. Okay, so I really want you guys to take today work on having those clean sections. All right. Then obviously we need to lift her chin up. So she's going to be a 90-degree angle between the chin and the chest line. That way we're ensuring balance. As of yesterday, again, I said to you, I can guarantee balance on a bob. If you've got her head positioned in the same place as it is on both sides, and your sectioning is clean on both sides. Okay. If you're working with a slightly diagonal line, as we know, our cutting line mirrors our cutting section. So we'll have a diagonal line. So our comb must stay diagonal the whole way down. Okay, there's no point having a diagonal line and then you changing the way your comb falls and start working like this, because then on both sides you're not going to be balanced. Okay, where your section lies is where your cutting line will also lie. Okay, so as we go into the sides, we're going to get my balance from the back, or my guideline from the back, my diagonal section of my comb, and just work that whole shape through. Make sense? Ooh, I'm slightly diagonal. But a club cut line, yes, but slightly diagonal as we go. So down into my shape, I would be standing right in the side, but obviously I'm not going to. And run the line, and then down across the ears, and run, and make sure I cut that a little bit off like this. Hello, Tina. And lines it. Okay, it's that simple. It's all about where you're moving to, and then we're just going to move forwards. So we've got a piece in the back to cut, so obviously we need to alter the way our head falls and run the shape. Head sheets over there. You're making me look like I'm slacking. Good.
So I started from the first section, the middle section, all the sections. Now we're gonna overdirect to the previous. We're gonna do like a straight section, so the second section, but always try to follow the angle. So imagine like visualizing, you need your elbow to be high, and you have to imagine exactly how your cut you want to be. So if we're gonna go like straight like that, it's not gonna be angled. So we need to angle actually. If I'm gonna hold my hand like this, the whole cut is gonna be over like this way. So it's gonna be like diagonal. So we have to just like visualize actually how the cuts you want, to just show to sit. Yes. So we're going to take this second section that is straight, and it's going to be over directly to the previous one.
So you're working under your occipital there?
Yeah.
Good. Why did you find that sits well for you? See, I used to find I found that I couldn't ever get it sitting too clean, but your bobs are so precise, it's unbelievable. I don't know how you work that. That's
because I love the shortcuts, the way I'm doing even the pixie cuts.
Yeah.
I found that's the easy way for me to do even the bob.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing this way.
Yeah. So it's just how you find it easy
Yes.
to control.
Yes.
It's all comfortability, isn't it?
Yes.
So wherever you feel comfortable.
So do you do your line after you've done your graduation?
Yes, I'll clean the line afterwards. It's gonna be much more easier to create the line, that's true. But I'm trying to be like, faster.
Mm.
Because in a salon, like if I'm gonna take it like break it down like slowly, doing the line and then doing the cut, it's gonna take me more than.
Yeah.
But if you feel like comfortable doing without creating the line, yes. If you don't, you just do the line and then doing the cut.
Will you blow dry it first? Or
When
will
I-
you do the
when
line
I'm
into
gonna-
it
Yes, I'll blow dry.
and then cut your line in?
Yes.
Love that. That's a proper good one for video. I've done one of those in lockdown. Those of you who've actually seen any of my videos will possibly know that there's one on there where I do that, and it's my favorite because it looks good. It looks good whilst you're doing it, but it's all I care about is how you look doing it. Yes,
So, are you cutting now straight?
straight.
Okay. So after you go there, you're making the layers, how is it?
I'm going to
The
do that while it's
graduation
wet too.
Wet?
Yes. So I'll cut all of mine in wet. So I run my line, then I run my graduation. So I'm just putting this in again so I can lift it because it didn't look very good yesterday. So doing it again. And then we're going to graduate. So I graduate from the back. Mine takes a little bit less time, but it's a slightly different way to how Andrew is doing ours. So there's many ways of running your shape and running your line, but I am just cutting a straight line from there again. So again, into the shape and just run my line. How do you find cutting now, all of you? Are you feeling like you're getting more comfortable or more confident? Or do you still feel, some of you, that it's a little bit tricky?
I think it's scissors.
Scissors? What's wrong with your scissors? They're what? They're not sharp. Yeah.
I think that helps.
It doesn't. Yeah. Are they really not that sharp?
I don't think they are. I feel like guys like you can feel it.
Almost biting.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found that it's not sharp.
I feel like an order coming on.
That's right.
An order. So,
New,
on new scissors.
yeah.
Yeah, scissors are important.
These are recommendations from Mrs. Goodman.
Okay. Don't go crazy, price wise.
Yeah, what you pay for, no?
You do, absolutely.
We were just talking about swivel ones.
Swivel ones.
Yeah, swivel ones.
What's a swivel one?
Is the one that rotates.
Yeah, they
we're talking
rotate.
about.
Yeah.
But they're not quite comfortable, to be honest.
They're not.
I do find like for beginners, I did try one, and for me, it didn't work, to be
Is
honest.
it not?
No.
Because I struggle to hold the scissors like that.
Yeah. What do you mean they rotate?
You know,
How
these-
the joints rotate, so they're supposed to be.
You know, this bit rotates,
Right.
and it does give you like, that's the safest scissor that you should. But for beginners, I think it's
Too much.
too much.
I don't think you should go with any sort of new age scissor like that. Whilst you're learning, I don't think you need to be spending loads of money. Scissors can be incredibly expensive. These ones I'm using were 400 and something, 450, 460. They're bloody expensive, but I bought these when I was about 22 and I've never had to have them sharpened. They are excellent, but you can get some for about 100 quid, 80, 70, 60, and they're pretty good. It's all about the sharpness. Anything Jaguar related is probably going to be reasonable. Joel's are very good, but then Joel's you're looking at about 150, 200 pound. Mine are wings. They're very precise. They've got a little thing on them that's like code for samurai swords. So be careful.
That's what I was looking at.
Send us those.
They're expensive.
We've got good ones. 'Cause
If
if you say you've had a sister of 22,
Yeah.
not at all.
So it depends how you feel like comfortable.
Mm.
This is quite sharp, so
Yours looks
I
bigger than
paid
Rob's one.
around £90 for this one. But I've got another pair, it's called Leaf. Me and Zoe, we have the same pair,
Oh, I
and
know
it's a
them.
set.
Yeah.
They are, I think it's 5, size is 5, this one is bigger,
Oh, is
5.9,
that
I think.
6?
Yeah, but it's 5.5 actually, it depends, yes.
What size is yours compared to mine? I think mine's 5s.
5.5, but my other one is 5.
Oh, yeah. It just did
How
look.
do you measure which size? How do you measure the scissors?
For example, when I bought this one, no, my previous one, my first one from the set, it was 5. And every single time when I was trying to, to cut, I thought it's too small for me. But it depends now. For the details, it's absolutely brilliant. But for example, if you want to do like a line, I wanted to try a big one. I bought this version and I think it's too big for me because it doesn't have, those rings that are like
Yeah, the plastic
insets.
one.
Yes, you don't have the option for this one for insets. But they do come like different scissors, they do come like with insets and it's much more comfortable for you. But I found out 5 is much more easier for me, like sometimes. It depends on the cut. Because they're feeling comfortable.
Please go.
That's balanced. Balanced as you get. So, with scissors, you've got to find a size that works. Mine are 5s, 5.5s.
5.
Mine are 5s.
So who uses 6s? Oh, is that?
Woody uses
Zoe
like
has.
6.5. Zoe's got 6s.
Yes,
Is
they
she?
had- yes.
Good grief, they're big.
Is it wrong? Is it not good thing to have big scissors then?
That's this personal preference. I personally don't like anything bigger than a 5. Because
Depends how big your hands are.
no, it doesn't. Well, I've got quite big hands, so I don't think that big scissors work well for precise hair cutting.
Less time for lines, actually.
Yes, absolutely. See, Woody will disagree. Woody will say that big scissors is the best thing to go with, especially for scissor over home. I prefer precise cutting, so I like a smaller scissor. It don't really matter how big your hands are, really. It's what it is. So my line is in, and my balance is pretty good, I think. So for purposes of the camera. Now we're going to graduate. Okay, so we all know what this is by now, this thing over here. Yeah, what is that? Yes. What does it show?
Elevation.
Elevation, good. So that is our elevation chart. So our line work when I've cut my line or when Andrea gets to the point where she cuts her line in will all be cut at 0 degrees because we want to build the heaviest form of graduation. Where does layering start? Where do we on the elevation chart start to remove weight? What? 90, good, excellent. So we start to remove weight from 90 degrees and up. Why do we start? Oh, just on point actually, you use bigger scissors, don't you? You use big, what is it? He's got shears. You use big scissors. This guy can't do shears. This guy does graduate above with them things. You use big scissors, isn't it? You use big long scissors. Why do you use such big ones?
Honestly, and he's on video.
It's a bit more done, it's about big.
How big
Okay.
your hands?
Big and tall.
So you use 6.5 or 7?
Yeah, big enough space, that's what it's called that.
Wow.
More big enough, more cut.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, if you've got more hair to work with.
Then use a bigger scissor, yeah. Makes sense, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Good. So 90 degrees out from the head starts to take weight out. Okay, so then we need to start building weight. So when we're working below 90 degrees, we're building weight again. Okay, so technically, if we're lifting the hair off of 0, we are taking weight out, but the stacking of the hair comes under 90 degrees. So depending on whether she has thick hair or finer hair, as Andrea said earlier on, is how high you're going to basically lift your hair to. Now, you can see the difference in variation between how Andrea's one works, where it's vertical sections back into the middle, or back into the previous, isn't it? To just push your weight. This is called over direction. Okay, so over direction is where you're pulling hair away from its natural fall, or away from where it naturally wants to sit, to create length or increase your length. So if you want the hair to be longer in the front, you'll pull the hair from the front somewhere back here. And if you want the hair to be shorter in the front and longer in the back, you'll pull the hair from here somewhere towards the front. Okay, so it's elongating length when you're working with graduation. So, or over direction, sorry. When you're working from one point to another, if Kate were to give us a little slow-mo left and right with her hair, the way the hair moves and shuffles all round, because Aki cut it with over direction, it would give her this sort of head-hugging feel, and then once it comes back, it all sits back down together again. The back will connect with the front, okay? This is called over direction, but we're gradually getting longer as we come into the front piece. Make sense? So over direction is an elongation of length. So I personally work little triangles all the way to the front. And on both sides, I find this works much easier than running anything else. It's easier, isn't it?
So the back shades are diagonal.
Yes, diagonal now, yeah.
Struggling.
Still covered in the back.
Come back in.
I think maybe cover carpet. It's a styling, well, I don't think
And then when we're in the sides, diagonal lines again, connecting with our radial. And boink, 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 boink. Sections will come back. And because I want to show my elevation, each piece is going to run, and we're going to allow our line to drop away. Each section then will lift and lift and lift. Why do we lift each section? Sorry, go on. Your question.
I was just wondering why you're going in different angles.
Now I'm cross-checking to show you exactly. I'm cross-checking.
Why do we have to lift each piece? Just quickly before we go back to Andrea. Each one of my sections is coming higher. What is the reason for? Good, it's round, and we don't want to create too much weight. Good. So I'm going to begin. Where are you up to there, Andrea?
I finished.
Oh.
I've done it with
Oh, good. So good.
So before we're going for the other part, because it's very important to see exactly if it was the right angle, if we have like some bits, otherwise it will affect the whole cut. The cross check is the other way around. So if we cut the parts like slightly diagonal on the left, we're gonna do it like opposite. So we're gonna take the middle section, we're gonna lift the hair, the angle that we did the cut, and it's straight. We'll go down, straight. Then the cut, it was like straight lines. We're gonna do it like slightly diagonal. And then we need to see like a clean line. We're gonna go up again. Line. We're gonna pull the hair, for example, like this. You're gonna see the angle actually. And this bit is gonna be clean afterwards. And that's how I save time not to do the line, then going back. Yes, and we're gonna, yeah.
Well, we start to read from the very bottom. Pulling the hair.
Yes, so when you start, it's very important, you know, you lift your elbow and you need to just create that angle. You're gonna overdrive to the previous one every single time. You're gonna start in the middle and each section is straight and you're gonna overdirect. But for example, if you're gonna take the second section, we have to angle and to go the way we want the hair to fall. So every single time, in order to see exactly if it's the right angle, we just pull the hair. When we're gonna reach the last section, we pull the hair and we're gonna over direct towards us. Otherwise, if we're gonna cut the hair like in this angle, you're gonna take the length. So we start like to over direct towards us in order to just keep the length.
Perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Where are you going now? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, the opposite side. So my section's in, I'm going from crown to the top of the ear. A lot of my stuff works crown to the top of the ear, as you all know by now. Central section down the back, and we're just little triangles all the way forward. Okay, your body position for me is crucial. All we're going to be doing is working on the left side, then elbow high on the right side. That's all we're going to be doing the whole way forward. Twist, 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 twist. Okay, it makes sense. Everything then comes back into your point. However, we've got to be careful where we're running this line to. So section 1, we don't want to take any length off the line. So my elevation needs to be high enough to run the shape. And same as what Andrea said, we need to come in at about a 45-degree angle from the shape. If we come too low with our elevation or our fingers come too flat, then we're going to find that we're getting too heavy. So we want to be straight out from the head at 45 degrees. Okay, if we're higher than that, that's absolutely fine, but too low and it's going to create something too heavy in the shape. Okay, so the little triangle in the back, head slightly forwards, and we cut hair on the inside of our fingers when we're graduating. So layering, we come on the outside, graduation, we come on the inside. Okay, and we're going to stay in the back and lift. High. Allow the outline to drop and run. See where that sits. We've got enough weight in the overall outline. So then triangular line. Again, body stays in the same position. Come over the top, elbow high, same elevation. Pick up your guideline in the center and run.
So you go from left to right.
Left to right. You can do the whole left and the whole right. I find it's easier just doing one and one. Then we want to cross check, so we're looking for a dead straight line, which we have. And then, okay. So allowing yourself at that 45-degree angle to create that line still. We put the line in, so we don't want to go too tight now and take it out. And the hair's going to get more and more that you're cutting off as you move up the head, because you're allowing yourself to run your elevation high. Okay. If you start with loads in here, you're going to be too tight in the back. Okay. So section 2. Next door, and we're going to pull back into the first shape. So body stays in the same position, and elevation comes a little bit higher. Comb from the top, okay? Don't comb underneath. Even though I just did, but it's a bit of hair. But do as I say, not as I do. All right? Comb over the top 3 or 4 times to get your good tension. Keep your tension when you're running. Right? And again, lift in. If your body position moves round, you're going to take the corner off. Okay, it's crucial to stay in one position. If I stand in here and run my shape, and then I step to the right, my hand doesn't move. It's just my body moving where my hand goes. But I'm going to lose control of this whole side. Okay, so body in the shape is mostly important. Stay in the middle. Okay, and again. Elevation, elbow high, pick off your guideline, and again. And then quite simply, it's exactly the same process the whole way forwards. Okay? So all the way into the front, little triangles, and moving again. So standing in the same position, lifting high. See how much we're taking off now. It's becoming quite a big chunk of hair. So we've really got to control where we're standing and just follow your guide. If you can't see your guideline, then obviously don't cut it. Okay. And again, body in the middle. And find your guide. How you getting on? Good. Quite easy a bob, isn't it? A graduate bob once you get going.
for me, it wasn't, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of practice and visualize and the body position actually,
Yeah.
because if your elbow is not high enough and you don't follow the angle, you don't visualize actually, you're gonna miss the whole cut.
Yeah.
Yes. For me, I think this is the most difficult cut, to be
really?
honest. Yes,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
personally. Like for some people, like think it's quite easy.
Because it's so much on show, like you'll see every.
Yes, you want to have like a perfect cut, perfect bob. The dull line has to be like immaculate, otherwise it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah. So I think you're right there, Natalie. If you make a mistake, you're stuffed. You'll see it. So that's why short hair cutting for some people is so scary. But
I've seen some bad graduations.
God, yeah.
Especially the hair colours.
Yeah,
It's like black and then.
Yeah. Are you all now starting to look at people's hair in like Tesco's?
I always used to do that.
Everywhere. As you're walking past, like on
Yeah.
the street.
Ooh, look at her hair. Yeah.
Or you're like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You're just wondering-
Very rarely do I
No,
think it's
but
hair.
you say it's
Sorry,
amazing,
can't
but
see it.
most people wear eyelids, all got extensions.
Yeah.
And it's not their hair. I love this hair. One had sort of extensions like this.
Oh, you did the one that first, and then you did the graduation.
Yes. Yeah. So the line first of all for me. You find you become a hair critique after like a month in the industry. It's amazing. And you can really see terrible haircuts, terrible colours. Some of the colours, oh my God, it's unbelievable you see them around. And you think somebody in a salon has done that and being proud of it to let them go. It's mad.
That sounds amazing.
Some people like it, don't they?
Yeah, some people like that.
Very,
Yeah,
very feeling happy and satisfied.
yeah, exactly. So to cross check, I've worked up triangly, so I'm going to come cross check the other way. So we're looking for a straight line and you up any bits that needs to be taken. But you want to cross check at the exact same point of your elevation. So if my elevation was up at 74 degrees, I don't know, then we're going to cut it at say 74 degrees or cross check it at 74. I don't worry too much on angles, I'm not too fussy. So I don't really want basically. And then we can see that the graduation starts to give that kick to the back of the haircut. So see it there, but you can see the shape being drawn. And it's not so heavy because we've been elevating, it's not as heavy as it otherwise would have been. The weight line, I mean, it's not going to pop down and run too weighty. So just gives you a little bit of visual. Okay. Nice.
I love
Very nice. Where did you go from there?
I'm cross-checking and then I'm gonna take another section and then starting to elevate to connect actually the bottom with the top, like 2 more sections here by the time I'm reaching the radial area, and then we're gonna create the line.
Excellent. So I'm going to run into the front. So sections into the front, same position for our head, and we'll just do exactly the same. Now, I'm starting to use the wide end of my comb though, so I don't want as much tension as we coming into the back, or coming into the side, sorry. Really important on your parting areas to not come across the top of the head. The top of the head can be quite bulbous on some people. So if you're working across the top, it's going to elongate, so we need to come down and round, okay? So it's important when you are working your shape in the side to not run the haircut too far across the top of the person's head. So what I mean is, instead of coming over the top, we drop the section
So it's straight naturally.
just where it naturally wants to go, yeah, and just come down and round into my look.
Thicker.
She could be a flicker. She's gonna love this. And then similarly on the other side, Start from that shape. And then we're ready to blow dry. But I'm not going to blow dry on the video because huh? Can if you want. Shall we blow dry on video? I'm still going to do it. I'll blow dry whilst the H is still going. Andrew.
So I finished.
You finished?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, we're gonna cross check. We're gonna take the middle section. We're gonna lift the hair, the same angle we the cut, and dropping, and we are following the straight line. We don't worry about the bottom part because we're gonna clean it after. And on the side, we're gonna take like diagonal.
Perfect. And nice to see when you cross check it straight. It's beautiful, isn't
So
it? Honestly, it's the best
It's like
feeling.
a therapy for me, to be honest. With shortcuts, like I can do like every single thing.
Yeah, it is nice. It's good fun when you actually find something that actually works easily.
And if you see like the people are so happy with it.
Yeah. Are you moving up?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So should I blow dry while you're going? Yeah? Good. Carry on. Staying as they are. Yeah. So we want the bottom to sit down and then we've got my graduated shape running off the back. If you guys want to take a little bit of a break, you're more welcome to take a little bit of a break. No, it's not my top level. Keep going, it's good. I'm going to grab a pen.
Yeah.
Pause the video. Whilst Andrea is finishing hers up, I'm just going to run quite gently a blow dry on my back bit, just so you can see what we're going to end up with. The H will finish in. What are you doing now?
So I'm trying so same technique I use. And now we're gonna start to connect.
Good.
To connect, we lift the hair. And we're gonna cut. That's the way I'm doing it all the way around. I have left one more section, the way I'm gonna connect, and then we're gonna do the. That's it.
Perfect. Excellent. My blow dry is going to be a wrap dry pretty much. So as you were working yesterday, I'm only going to do the little back bit just so you can see, then I'll finish it up later. Into the side. What did you say? Sorry. Oh, okay. You can see how the graduation falls. I'm going to do the rest of the video. Lovely, eh? So graduation is basically a build-up of weight where your external line is the shortest point and everything internally gets longer and longer. So if we're looking at our expanded shape, this piece is going to be higher and longer than this piece, exactly where Andrew is saying. Graduation is a build-up of weight where your external line is the shortest point and everything internally gets longer. It creates this stacking motion in the back of the head. Okay? Good. Check it afterwards. Yes. So later, when it's dry, we're going to compound it. So later on, after lunch, probably we'll both have a little look at the bottom of our box for like 2 minutes, and just show you a little way to technique, clean it all up. But you're not going to get a bob 100% perfect when it's wet. You always have to have that dry time at the end just to run it through. So give yourself 5 minutes to think your haircut. Just so your technique's a lot lighter. So Andrew, you can see the way Andrew is working, where my elevation all became quite low, hers is starting to lift higher and higher and higher. So it's just going to raise that line off. So see where my weight line feels quite heavy, I've still got quite a lot of length here. Andrew, as I'm imagining, is going to come a little bit higher, so it's just going to round that shape up a little bit. Yeah. So it's just slightly different tweaks of ways to work that give you a completely different look. You see with cakes at the back of cakes is quite heavy, so Aki would have left his elevation a lot lower. So we're just giving a little bit more of a bulk and a little bit more of a stability towards the back of the head. What size are your scissors?
5.5.
Oh, they were asking.
What do you use? You use 5.
Fives. Yeah. Tiny.
Tiny. You're like toenail.
They asked for.
What you use? Tell me what you use.
But eventually, Calvin, do you use razors?
What do you mean?
As in,
Like
texturizing razors? You do? Yeah.
You can ruin someone's hair with it, like,
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to get carried
No joke,
away.
mate. I've seen it happen. Things like that dog had a good old chew on it.
It's very easy to get carried away. So we will be going into razor cutting you've got as well. Razors and things. And then we'll grab a man like Woody to have a look at this barber.
You can do it on me, and say, oh, no, slow down.
I really like to learn the razors,
Yeah.
so we can have a sharp edge. Like our kids, you know, when you see that shape thing, it's very important.
Yeah. Do we have the cutthroat razors here? The blues still?
Yeah, I've got some yesterday.
Did you? Like we'll borrow later?
We do.
Yeah. Give them a little bit of a go. Thank you.
Problem.
Go pop some balloons in there. And scary, yeah. So she combs a couple of times before cutting, and then we know a cross check is going to be perfect because the technique is so precise. Flawless.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
And one more, and that's it.
So you're going to lift this even higher?
Yes.
No,
So this all goes to one.
yes. and if I consider it's too heavy, I'm gonna texture.
Do you texturize wet or dry?
Yes,
So at the end.
when I'm gonna finish.
So if you elevate too high, what can happen?
Shorter, very short.
It's gonna go shorter, it's gonna go too soft, yeah, too much volume. So you want to stay away from being quite mushroomy. It's very difficult to have bobs that don't look like Lego hair, which is really quite tricky not to get it to that point. I know, like the Lego man or the Lego woman. I find if you go too much with it, too high or too much weightless, or too much weight removed, it looks like a box. Or like just got a mushroom already. So it's a fine line between the two. If you find you're quite mushroomy, then texturize. And we did texturize last week a little bit. We're going to do a little bit more texturizing as well. Who prefers cutting or colour? Cutting or colours?
I like both.
Cutting. Both? Both? Lisa? Good. Yeah.
At cutting you can repair.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, so
coloring it's a little bit hard.
Yeah. Colouring's hard to repair. That's great. Daniel, what do you?
I like both. Yes.
What about you, Nelly? Yeah.
But more like cutting.
Yeah. Good. Nelly, what do you prefer? Yeah. Haven't decided yet. That's a good thing. So I'm not scaring you off just yet. What do you prefer, Andrew? Cutting. I knew that before even asking. Why do you prefer cutting?
Because creativity comes to color as well. But cutting, I think you can combine like precision. First of all, I love like clean line, and I don't know, when you do like, for example, a pixie cut, because you know I'm obsessed with pixie cut, you can put like your own, stamp, your own thing. And I love like being creative and start doing something different, because I've seen like all the hairdressers, for example, in my country, they follow the same guideline, like you need to do like etc. I like to change a little bit, always. So
Yeah.
be different.
Yeah, exactly. I can't. Colouring scares me. Still. I don't like not knowing I can correct something. Cutting and know I can correct it. Colour, if it goes dark, you've got to use light, I suppose. If they don't want light, then you add it. So it's all in consultation. Make sure your consultation is absolutely perfect. And make sure when you are working, you confirm with your guest what you're actually going to be doing before you do it. Consultations. Yes. But we're going to go over consultation. Possibly this afternoon, we may do a little bit. We're going to have about 3 weeks till the first exam. So I will let you know what the first exam is probably going to be consultation exam. So start revising. Next week we are going to be looking at bringing supplies. So whoever yesterday I spoke to a few of you who wanted to do a few clients. So I'll see how many we get and then we'll go. All right. How was it with your first client?
Oh my goodness. It was after 3 weeks when I came in, and you came to me and you said, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I was so scared. The lady didn't speak, she didn't have a talk. It was so awkward.
Yeah.
And I was trying to just ask her questions. I didn't know if it's the right question, if I'm gonna, talk too much. Or I was trying to, to engage her in conversation. She didn't say anything. At the end, I didn't like her. She had a lot of frizzy hair. So her hair was so frizzy here that I didn't know how to calm it down.
Yeah.
And I remember you came to like, oh, I'm very proud of you because
Yeah.
you had the courage to do it, but it was so scary.
Yeah.
And she come in? Blow dry. That's it, blow dry. But my next one was after a week, to cut. She didn't say anything. She didn't talk at all.
Oh,
She
I
said
know,
like
like,
hello and
similar.
goodbye, something like that. It was so awkward. And the next time I had, it was, you remember David, where she had the nails and she said like she had the best cut.
No,
So
I
far.
don't remember.
So it was after 1 week. It took me like 3
Yeah,
hours
just
to do some nails, 3 hours.
Thanks,
Or, you know, go
Thanks,
tracking. But it was scary.
Yeah, I will throw you in the deep end, pretty much. I will make sure you are doing clients early doors, and I will be there with you the whole time. Andrew will obviously be knocking about as well. So don't be scared. Nothing to be scared of. Our clients are all lovely, unless you get that lady yesterday. Yeah, Lindsay, we'll make sure it's not her. What? We do, yes. Only at certain points though. If it's, we don't do colour after like 11 on the starters because I'm with beards or that. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Playing through what you did.
So I've connected the crown area with the bottom part and finish here. And I want to, if I'm gonna split the hair, I just want to visualize to see how it sits. And for me, even when it's wet, it has to sit like perfectly. When we're gonna blow dry, then we're gonna see like this side is quite heavy. We're gonna texturize and that's it. And now we try to connect the sides.
Peppa Pig outside. Peppa Pig is outside. Peppa Pig.
Maybe.
It was dancing in the cafe.
Enjoy it. Thanks.
Make sure they fill them up with water though.
So I'm connecting the sides with this bit.
So you just create the line.
Yes. Even if it's not perfect.
Good. Fabulous. So we're going to finish up over here. You guys get yourself started. Is there any questions before we go?
How short was it?
The short you like? Let's go pretty short. Let's do it. Big round of applause for the H as well. Thank you very much. First demo down. Very, very good work. Well done. Off you go.